Hi there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Vero, and in today's video I'm going to be setting up my personal bullet journal spreads for the month of May. If you haven't already checked out my video where I set up a more minimal spread for the month of May, you can go check that out right here. You can click on the link above. The spreads I'll be setting up today are my cover page, my monthly log, my habits tracker, my brain dump, my finance tracker, just the same regular things that I do every month pretty much. This time I'll only be doing my first weekly spread of May because I will be doing a video separately on the different weekly spreads that I do for this month, because I'm going to be changing things up a little bit and yeah, just exploring different spreads to see if I can find one that works even better than the ones I've been using so far. The theme I chose for May is watercolor stripes with some stamps of leaves, and the colors match my nails, which is kind of exciting. Totally weird, but also I'm kind of excited about it. So yeah, let's get into the video. As usual, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe because it really helps me out. Hope you enjoy the video. For the month of May, I was super uninspired when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So I kind of went back to basics and decided to just paint stripes across my whole page in watercolor using the colors blue, green and yellow. I left a circle in the middle of my cover page because this is where I'm going to write May. Excuse my cat's tail flicking onto the screen, she was walking across me. To paint the stripes across the page, I first laid down some black tape so that I could have some clean edges once I was finished. I realized later on, whilst I'm doing other spreads, that I actually wasn't a fan of putting that black tape down in the first monthly cover, but whatever. Although I could have left my theme with just the stripes, I wanted to test out stamping this month, so I'm going to make a whole other video on that, but here's just a time lapse of me doing that. So I was using these Archer and Olive stamps that came in the March subscription box, and if you want more information on the subscription box, just look at the link down below. I've linked to Archer and Olive's website, so you can find more details on it. For the ink, I am not using the ink that came with the subscription box. I'm actually using a black soy-based ink from somewhere else that came with a different stamp of mine. I then grabbed a Tombow black brush pen and just wrote out May, and then my cover page was done. For my monthly log, I decided to put my calendar on one page instead of 2 pages. This is a bit new and I'm just trying to change things up a bit because I feel like my setup has been kind of boring lately and I'm feeling a bit uninspired. So I just wanted to see if I could change things up creatively a little bit, and I quite liked the way this turned out. The dimensions for that calendar are 3 squares across by 4 squares down for each day of the month, and I will trace it out after stamping everything. For the leaves, I'm using just the 3 leaf stamps that come in the stamp packets from the Archer and Olive subscription box. They're super pretty. I then removed the tape and I traced out my calendar. I was lucky that the stamp set that came in the subscription box also had stamps for the word notes and the to-do, so I added those in as well. In the subscription box, there are stamps for each day of the week, and instead of using my stamp pad, I actually used the ink that came with the subscription box. So I used this metallic grey one, and basically I only covered the first letter of each week so that I could fit it on top of my mini calendar, because if I used the whole thing, it wasn't going to fit. And here's the final spread. My next spread for May is my habits tracker, and for the month of May I decided that I was going to track only 8 habits, not including my phone tracker and my steps tracker. I haven't decided yet what habits I'm going to track, but I guess I'll see during the month. And as you can see on this spread, I just used my same 3 colors. I had already laid down the tape so I wouldn't go over anything, and I just painted everything together. Then I picked up my same stamps with the same soy-based ink pad and I just stamped across the page. I don't know if I'm the biggest fan of stamping, but again, I think I'll do a separate video on this so that we can test it out together and in closer detail. After removing the tape from the habit tracker side, I used another mini calendar stamp to stamp out the things, and I left a bit of blank space at the top so that I could write the habits that I wanted to track afterwards. I'm not straying too far away from the usual trackers I use for my phone and steps tracker. I just left space so that I could use it as a graph tracker. I'll just quickly insert a picture of what those spreads usually look like once they're completed. I think maybe in the month of May I will use a bar graph tracker instead of a line graph, but that's just details. And this is what it looks like. The next spread that I'm doing is my gratitude and my 1 line a day log. This one was super fun actually. The stamping, I think either I was getting used to the stamping or I don't know, it just felt fun on this particular spread. But I used my watercolors to paint the outside and then I stamped across the edges. Then I wrote 1 down to 31 on each page. I wrote gratitude and summary on the top of the page, and that's what that looks like. I'm now moving on to my finance tracker. And this tracker is the same thing every single month, so it's nothing special. So I just went in with my theme for the month, which was just watercolor lines across the page. And it was weird because the stamps from the previous page seeped through the page, so that was kind of annoying. But when it dried, it was better. Then once I was done, I wrote out the word finances at the top with my black Tombow brush pen. This month I went for a very minimal font design because I was just kind of getting bored of my calligraphy style, so just a simple one this month. And because I'm using stamps this month, I chose to use some post-it notes just to hide the word finances so that when I was using the stamps, they wouldn't cross over onto the word. I then grabbed my 2 sheets of paper so that my stamping wouldn't go everywhere, and I put them underneath my pages so that I could start stamping. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I'm using 3 different leaf stamp designs from the Arter and Olive subscription box from March, and I'm using black ink from a different stamp set where I got my logo stamp created from, so no issue, which is just a plain black ink. And if you stay tuned for a couple minutes longer, you'll actually be seeing me use my new logo on my spread. I'm really excited about this. I designed this a couple of months ago. Finally got the stamp delivered, so this is a super exciting step in my small business. Anyway, so with this first stamp leaf design, I stamped it, a relatively even distance from each other, leaving space for the next stamps to go in. And here's a time lapse of me stamping the rest of that page. What about you? Have you used stamps before in your bullet journal, or in general, have you used stamps? Anyway, after stamping, it was time to remove the tape and the sticky notes from the top. It was super satisfying removing those sticky notes, and the nice little pattern it left on the sticky notes was actually super cute, so I totally kept those sticky notes for later use. I'm a real sucker for a tape removal video, so just bear with me as I do a quick time lapse of me removing them. Next, I grabbed my ruler to trace out the different columns in my finance tracker, and I also used a black pen to do the top bar of my trackers and used a white pen to write out the information. Then I referred to the front of my journal to get my categories in for the small totals at the bottom of the page. And now for my last monthly spread. It's the brain dump page, and as usual, just using my 3 watercolors to give it a nice little effect. Then I'm going in with my stamps at the end to add in that stamped theme. I'm actually using my logo stamp, which I talked about just earlier in the video, and I'm super excited about this. So here is the first look at my logo stamp, which I put on the bottom right corner of the page. This page was also by far my favorite page to stamp because the stamps went on very smoothly and it was just very satisfying to watch. Then, of course, at the top I wrote the words brain dump, and I evidently forgot to film that. So let's move on to the last spread that I'll be doing in this video, which is my very first weekly for the month of May. I'll be doing a separate video for the rest of the weeklies because I'm actually going to be testing out new weekly spreads in my bullet journal for the month of May, because I'm getting a bit sick of my traditional 2-page spread with a small Dutch door inside, so I want to see if I can use less space. So yeah, come back for another video on that. I think it'll be coming out next week. But for this first weekly, I decided to go with a 2-page spread without any Dutch door. I was inspired by a picture I saw on Pinterest or Instagram. I'll insert a picture here of my inspiration. And I just did 2 lines of watercolor, and then I used my stamps, again from the Arter and Olive subscription box, to stamp out the days of the week. So for the spacing for the stamps, I split both pages into 3 different columns. And I used 8.5 squares for each of the columns in width. For the stamps, I used the day of the week, and then I added a number on the top. So for the first week, I started on the 3rd of May, and then I just placed the stamp on the page. I repeated this process for every single day until Friday, but for Saturday and Sunday I just used the 2 stamps for Saturday and Sunday stacked on top of each other, and I didn't write in a number. In this spread, of course, you can't have a to-do list or any events, so I'm going to see if I enjoy actually using this weekly spread, because I also don't have any lines separating each of the days, so it's slightly less structured. But yeah, I guess come back for that video where I detail the different weekly spreads that I do. I'll do a review on those as well. Anyway, to finish off the spread, I used another mini calendar stamp to stamp on the month, and then I wrote May out in simple calligraphy. I then used some leaf stamps to bring everything back into my theme. And now let's go into the final flip through. So I really actually ended up enjoying making this theme. At the beginning I was super uninspired and wasn't liking it, but I think I really enjoyed it. My cover page, my monthly log, which already has stuff inside it, my habits tracker and my phone and step tracker, my gratitude and my 1 line a day log, my finance tracker, this is my favourite spread this month, my brain dump, and my very first weekly of May. Well, I hope you enjoyed this monthly setup. If you want to see more content like this, head on over to my channel. I have more videos from previous months where you can see how I set them up. Again, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It really helps me out and I would appreciate it so very much. I'll be posting regularly on Mondays and Thursdays at 5 PM UTC+1 or London Lisbon time. Anyway, thanks again for watching and I will see you in the next one. Bye!